step one. This meeting is confidential. It does not leave our mouths, okay? So we have to think about what we're going to do here. The reason why it's confidential is there's been a bunch of proposals put forward on how we're going to operate the airline May onwards for the next 12 months. There's various scenarios out there. One of it is that the airline picks up back in operation relatively quickly. In July, August, we're at 50% capacity. September, October, 90, and then into the Christmas, we're almost back to normal. The other scenario is that the customers and the economy is not rebounding as quick as it should be, and we do not actually recover 60 to 70% of the operation. That would be as max as we recover for the next 9 months or so, and then it takes off for next summer. So worst case scenario is that we have too many people, right? So we're trying to figure out ways of running around this. So we're looking at 100% headcount, 75% headcount, 50% headcount, sort of stuff like that. The easy solution for us is to, we have about 150 pilots that are either been recruited and haven't joined us, or have just started training, or someplace in the training program. What's probably going to happen to them is we will stop their training and just put them to the side of the business. But in total, we have to come up with 250 pilots. So if I have 150 that are in the training, that means I have to find another 100 in the network that we may have to remove. All right. So step one, I'm thinking, is we start off with the bad apples. So anyone that has caused you grief on a routine basis, whether it's excessive sickness, not doing their ground school, poor performers in their PPCs where they're always getting level 2s, level 3s, weak captains that you always go, you know what, that person should be on a 10 seat, you know, that sort of thing. You know, we know we have them, and now's the time to clean up the airline. Anyone that is not Wizz culture, all right? Anyone that kind of is always kind of, you know what, that person's a pain. This is where we're going to start with, all right? So I suspect on every base, there's at least probably 5. So what I like to do is for the smaller bases that have less than 8 aircraft, to pick 5 captains and 5 FOs at the bottom of the pile. Who you today could say, I could live without them. For the bigger bases of 8 aircraft or above, I want you to pick 20 captains and 20 FOs. Okay? Now, there are going to be some network changes, we're not sure yet, but there is a possibility that we temporarily not close, but just kind of temporarily shut down 5 bases. Those bases are going to be Deverson, Kutaisi, Riga, Sibiu, and Tuzla. Now, the majority of those bases are Hungarian pilots. So it will be the Hungarian population that probably takes a bigger hit. Okay. We have the CONFAIR guys, but I don't want to really look at the CONFAIR guys for a couple of reasons. One, they're easy to manage because we can let them go at any time. They only have 24 days of HP throughout the year, and they're incredibly cheap for the company. So we can do an equal balance of local and CONFAIR, but I would prefer to have not touch too much of the CONFAIR guys. I would leave them as a last resort. But I suspect just on bad apples, we could probably come up with 50 right away. So just think about it over the weekend. I have to have the names by Wednesday of the 250 pilots that we're going to possibly say goodbye to. So it's not, if you take out the 150 that are not even on the line, that means across, 1,400 pilots, we have to find 100 that are possibly bad apples. All right. Now I know as you guys, you keep track of all the written warnings, verbal warnings, and stuff like that on file. I would look at those guys as well. All right. Again, this does not leave your lips. All right. So we do not discuss it with your colleagues, your friends, your training, your social network. When you go out for a beer, you do not say anything. This is between you and I. All right. The base managers are going through the same exercise. They have to find 1,000. There will be 1,000 cabin crew let go. Right. And only the base managers know this as well. They do not know the pilot numbers. Okay? So you can't talk to them about pilot numbers. This is just between you and I. Exactly. The more bad apples we can find, the better. Because these guys that are going through the training, we've already paid for the training, and they have to be bonded. So I would prefer to avoid someone that has a bond as well. because if I let them go, we're not going to get the one back. We're in an opportunity here to make the next 10 years of your life managing easy. Yeah, it's tough times, guys. It's brutal to have to do this. I know probably most of you have never been through a downsize before, but it's a painful exercise, but we just have to get over it. But we will come out of this with a much stronger workforce, one that has a Wizz culture, and that's easy to manage in the next future, for the future going ahead. Yeah, you will have some sort of subjective stuff. You know, you always got that guy that's continually, a pain in your ass. He hasn't been that much of a pain that you've had to go to a full disciplinary thing. But every week, you're pulling your hair out, We know the guys out there. They're just constantly, reporting sick every time they're sick. Look at guys that report sick on Christmas Day, continually. Christmas Day sick. New Year's Day sick. When you call them to ask to work on a day off, no. When they refuse to go on the captain's discretion, so we have to have names, I have to have them by Wednesday. Work together, guys, and, you can all work together as a team of 25, or in regions, whatever you have to have. But at the end of the day, amongst you, we have to have 100 names or so, 100 plus names. Yeah, I don't know that yet, but from what I've been told, it will be delivered to them as organizational changes. So it's not because they're full performance or a pain in the ass, it's just we've restructured the organization and there's no longer a requirement for your position. Whatever you want to get rid of, whatever you feel that are the bad apples, then put them on the list. But we just cleanse. This is basically what we've been told, or what I've been told, clean it up. Well, they're able to be rehired at our discretion. So I'm not going to rehire a bad apple. Well, what I've been ordered is get rid of the troublemakers. I'm pretty sure we can find 100 bad apples, and then we need to target on that. And then if there's further reductions, then we can look at part-time. Let's sort out the bad apples first, and then we'll look at options later. Bad apples, go. Okay, guys, I'll let you go. Sharpen your pencils, and let's see what you can come up with.